Hello, singers. Welcome to my podcast. Oh my gosh, it's been a few weeks, maybe a few months. It's your girl, Jenny Lynn, and I am so excited to be here with you today. I've been really missing you guys, and oh my goodness, have my downloads been like creeping up. Thanks so much, guys. I think I'm approaching like 15,000 downloads on this cute little podcast we have for singers, artists, performing artists. This is for you from my heart. So thanks so much. And before I get into the content, just have to pitch myself, something I often forget to do. But guys, if you are looking for a private voice teacher, I still do private lessons one-on-one. If that's something that's interesting to you over video chat, go ahead and contact me at voiceofjennylynn@gmail.com. Go ahead and inquire about that, and I can let you know more information. In addition, I do offer mentorship for artistic men and women, creatives of all backgrounds who are looking to follow their bliss and want to do that with as much grace and joy as possible. So if you are interested in mentoring with me, you also can contact me at the same email address at voiceofjennylynn@gmail.com. All right, let's get into the content. So I want to talk today about posture. It's going to be pretty simple, guys, but it's really important for singing. I don't think it probably goes all that much different if you happen to be an actor or you happen to be a musician of a different type of musician or, any sort of performing artist. You want to have a posture that's comfortable, natural, effortless, but tall and supported. So the number one thing I see with singers when they first come to me is like an inflated chest, kind of like think the Tasmanian devil look, like remember that cartoon, the Tasmanian devil, with the big upper chest and the big shoulders and nice and tall, like almost like a drill sergeant stance. We don't need to sing like a drill sergeant. I promise you, I want you to think of your top 3 favorite singers of all time. None of them look like a drill sergeant / Tasmanian devil when they're singing, okay? So posture for singing is relatively simple. It's relaxed, but it's supported. So what you want to do is you just want to feel your head is tall. Think of the crown of your head very simply spinning up north towards the sky, okay? And that will just help to pull your posture up a bit. And then I want you to relax your shoulders. I want you to relax your arms. Please relax your hands and fingers. And go ahead and relax your chest. So what you're going to find is that you look very comfy. You should look very normal, very relaxed. Just sort of a little glowed up version of yourself. Just your head, just a little, the crown of your head tall, with a relaxed, not concave and not Tasmanian devil big, just average, regular chest. Relax shoulders and then relax yourself all the way through the arms, down through the wrists, through the hands, and through the fingers. When you sing, you want to feel as though you are, once you have the crown of your head spinning up towards the sky and you have everything relaxed, you want to sort of cut your body in two mentally. You have everything from your chest up is relaxed and everything from your chest down, we're talking your lower belly, your bottom, your legs into your feet, everything from sort of the lower body feels supported, strong, grounded, energetic, like powerful, and then everything from sort of the waist up, so that means the chest and up, feels relaxed, easy, and natural. So I often describe posture as kind of dividing your body in two mentally. So the standing position for your feet should be whatever's comfortable. I typically stand with like maybe just like my feet, just a few inches apart, maybe one foot a little in front of the other. just to kind of get my balance. But really, ideally, think about it, guys. Like, as a singer, let's say you're like a musical theater singer or a pop singer, like, you're going to have to move. You may have to dance. You may have to strut across the stage. So, all that's important is that your legs just feel powerful. They just feel strong. It's really a mental disposition. And just that you feel as though you could do your warm-ups or your songs either standing tall and just standing in the same position without like needing to rock back and forth, just being sort of very still and calm, all the way to being able to walk around the house while doing your warm-ups, being able to bend over, stand up tall, stretch to the side, do a few dance moves if that happens to be your genre. If you're an opera singer, you're lucky, you won't have to dance. That's one of the reasons why I chose to learn opera. Though I'm actually a decent dancer. I grew up dancing and in cheerleading and stuff, but combining dancing with singing was a lot. So my hat is off to you, to all my pop, musical theater singers, etc. But yeah, if you're jazz or opera, probably you're going to want to just sort of feel that sense of calmness and being able to just stand comfortably and strong in your legs without having to like sway or like rock back and forth, like a lot of funny habits that we get. Just feeling calm and still. And if you are another type of singer, probably like it's great to once in a while do your warm-ups, do your exercises, sing your songs, kind of walking around the house, doing some housework, doing a couple dance moves, a few yoga stretches, because you're going to have to be able to do that. But ultimately, the technique that I teach lends to that. You should be able to do anything, whether it's being still and calm or moving on a stage, all the way from laughing and smiling and crying and weeping and acting. Like, everything should feel really natural. But guys, your legs always feel powerful. There's sort of a mental energy through the legs. I remember one really great singer I heard, she said that she just always imagined singing from her feet. Just a mental image, again, of the power of her feet and her legs. And I remember she had a really powerful voice. In terms of your bottom, okay, guys, so you have to think about it like this. Support is when you push down literally like on your pelvic muscles. I literally tell my singers, push down on your crotch, almost like you're going to the bathroom. Like, it's kind of a similar sensation. So your bottom and your crotch area should feel south, powerful, and push down while you sing. And that's what it means to sing with the support. So if I'm singing like a line without support, Havana, una na. Half of my heart is in Havana, una na. And then I push down on my pelvic muscles, you're going to hear the difference in the tone. Havana, una na. Half of my heart is in Havana, una na. You can hear there's more power, there's more depth to the tone, there's more darkness in the tone. And that's just called support. And everyone that's been in a choir has heard the choir teacher say, support the tone. He just means to push down in your pelvic area, push down like you're going to the bathroom. And you're going to feel that through your bottom. You're going to feel that through your pelvic region. And then the last thing you want to do is just let your little apple belly come out when you sing. You should be mentally storing air low. You don't want to think about storing air up in the chest. I always tell my singers, let the air pass through the chest area into the lower tummy. And that takes a little bit of work, but eventually they can do that. So yeah, when you cut your body in half, the bottom half of your body feels strong, engaged, powerful, present, energetic, supporting. And then the top half of your body, your chest, your shoulders, your arms, your hands, your wrists, your face, all of that feels just relaxed. Just let go, feeling free and feeling let go and relaxed. Other than obviously feeling your spine tall, feeling the crown of your head up tall to the sky. The rest of that is relaxed. And that's how you end up being able to sing in a way that, yes, you're supporting the tone, you're strong on a stage, you've got that wonderful yin and yang balance between support and strength and ease and flow. And the upper body is the ease and flow. And you'll notice that when you're able to do this more and more, you're going to look a lot cuter when you sing. I tease my students constantly. I'm like, my students look cool when they sing. They look good. They look natural. They look effortless. They look like they're having fun. They look versatile in their emotions, just like you would be on an everyday basis. It's really no different. That's why I tell people you really do sing the way you speak. It's really so true. And so when we go to sing, oftentimes we go into all these like fake, false, pushed out, overdone, exaggerated forms of ourselves. And really it's about just letting go and relaxing more into ourselves and just being more and more natural. And that is going to produce your greatest sound. I hope that was helpful on posture and a little bit into support. I think I have another video on support, another video or two on support if you want to learn more about pushing down in your crotch area to get the support in the tone. But remember, a lot of what I'm talking about is mental, guys. Singing is very much mind over matter. It takes a little bit of faith and a little bit of letting go and a little bit of trust in order to become a great singer. The next thing I want to talk about, there's so many good things I could bring up in this podcast. But I guess, I'm trying to think. Okay, so what I want to talk about is how singing transforms the confidence of the artists that work with me, and it can do the same for you. It transforms their entire vibe, their entire energy, their confidence. They literally blossom like a rose over time singing. And music has, and really any art that feels authentic and genuine and truthful and expressive from your heart. And by the way, if you're doing your art in a way that doesn't feel that way to you, you definitely want to take baby steps towards joy. I see a lot of artists lose their joy in their art, and they lose feeling emotionally connected to their art, and they lose the fun, just the fun and the play of art. Because they're engaged in a bunch of art that isn't touching their soul, is not bringing them joy, is not in alignment with just their true self and their true personality. But great artists are deeply aligned. And so I always tell artists to take little baby steps inwards towards very simply fun and joy. I really couldn't make it more simple. And that takes courage. And so that means a little bit more no's to the wrong things and a little bit more yeses to the right things. That takes a little bit more faith to just know in your heart, like this project or whatever I'm doing or whatever I'm involved in isn't for me. This school program I'm enrolled in, or, whatever it might be. It takes faith to connect with your intuition and to ask yourself, is this fun? Do I feel like I'm playing? Does the day go by quickly? Is this joyful for me? And if the answer is yes, you're in alignment. You should not fear. Have no fear. You are directly in the right path for you. You are directly on your quickest path towards your dream life, and towards accomplishing the greatness in your art that you're hoping to accomplish, and to having the dreams that you desire in your heart fulfilled. The fastest way to know an artist is on that path is to ask them, are you happy? Are you joyful? Does it feel like play? Does the day pass by quickly when you do your art? And if so, you are in alignment with God's will for your life and in alignment with your greatest life. So that's the first thing. And we do have to have the courage to take baby steps and sometimes leaps away from things that make us feel miserable, not happy, bored. Oh, I've had that so many times in my singing career, guys, where I would take on a project that was challenging in some way. And I would get excited because it was something new. It was a new challenge. And then I would do it. And like about halfway through, I felt bored. my mind was somewhere else. I wanted to be somewhere else. Whatever was in my mind was really not all it's cracked up to be. And I have not had those days in years because I now follow my bliss. I do what feels joyful and fun and playful and fabulous. But in the past, I often would take on projects and things related to singing that were more aligned with just being cool, having a big ego, getting money, being paid, being appreciated, doing what was in fashion, doing what would please others or make me look cool. And I had a lot of boring moments. I remember oftentimes just sitting there like staring at the clock, like, when is this rehearsal over, or when is this project over? And I'm not too much of a quitter, which I don't necessarily consider a virtue. Like, I think I would have saved a lot of time in my past by quitting things sooner that weren't joyful to me. I no longer do that. I no longer stay engaged in things that don't bring me joy. But it was, it was one of those things where eventually I had the courage to know in my heart, like, I needed to take a step or a leap out of this towards something that was more fun, and often something that didn't necessarily look so cool to other people, but for whatever so just for whatever reason was great play for me. And those are the things that began creating this momentum of passionate art in my life, where I was just having so much fun and the creativity didn't stop and the opportunities continued to come, and the right doors opened, and the right financial abundance came, and those types of things come when we're aligned with our bliss. And I've learned, you guys, like, in life, and this pertains to everything in life, okay? This pertains to relationships, this pertains to your marriage, this pertains to your career, your art, whatever it might be, that we though sometimes it takes some work, it's quite fun work, but we can become, and we do become, very good at the things we truly love. If you don't really love something or someone, you are not tapped into that supernatural inspiration to hustle. So, like, my life is about flow, and it's about ease and joy. And if you looked at my life from the outside looking in, you might still be impressed with my work ethic. You might still say, you know what, Jenny, like, you still work pretty hard and you put out a lot of content and you do a lot of cool things and you still practice a lot and you're singing and your art. Like, I consider you a pretty hard worker, and no wonder you've had the successes that you've had. But the thing is, guys, like, if you were inside my body and my heart and my mind, you would see that everything I do feels so fun and so playful and so exciting. It's like the day just goes by so majestically and so magically. So what I'm saying is, when you love something and you stay consistent with being aligned with what you really love, you are tapped into a supernatural inspirational flow in your life. I joke around with my students. I'm like, it's like being married to a man or a woman you don't love. Like, it's very, very hard to treat that person, with the ultimate love and respect. It's very hard to have that sort of healthy give and take. It's hard to be enthusiastic when that person comes home. It's hard to want to please them and make them happy. It's hard to stay committed and connected and in for the long haul unless you're in love. When you're in love, you're not going anywhere. Baking his favorite cookies or taking her out to her favorite restaurant, it's not hard, because you sort of live to enjoy that person, experience that person, be happy with that person, see that person smile because you love them. I'm not saying it's not, there aren't ups and downs and imperfect days, but there's this, you're sort of tapped into this supernatural ability to do well. And I would say the same thing about art. In music, I've noticed, because I've had so many struggles in my own voice and in my own technique, I've been studying voice since I was 10 years old, and I do not consider myself by any stretch arrived. though I think there will be a time period in my life when I can tell you, I think I've arrived. Like, this is the best me. This is the best sound I can produce. My voice is doing the most. My voice is sounding the way that I can imagine it in my head, being just amazing. And I've been working on my craft now for decades. And so there are up and down moments, but as long as I'm aligned with very practical things like the type of music I love, the types of projects that I love, the types of clients and students and mentees that work with me that I really enjoy, the types of even my YouTube channel. It's like I have different YouTube channels. I put out content that I love. And because of this love that I have in my heart, I am tapped into a supernatural energy source, a supernatural creativity, a supernatural ability to, work hard while it doesn't feel like hard work. A supernatural ability to create things that maybe other people think is really quite phenomenal. And to me, again, it just kind of felt like play. So love is so important. And this love is what transforms singers. When singers come to my studio, they're in the same ruts that we all are in, right? Struggling with confidence, struggling with self-esteem, struggling to stand up tall when they sing, hunched over, looking at the floor, totally embarrassed, like scared to death to like really step out there and share their art, afraid of their future, afraid of how are they going to have financial abundance, afraid of what people will think of them, maybe having a passion to write music or create music, but like not having started yet or really not having, dove into it very much. All kinds of fears, insecurities. Like my students and my mentees come to me in very similar states because we live in a world that's not going to sit around and like affirm you until basically like you've quote unquote made it in their eyes. And really the goal is, guys, to get to a place of deep self-love in your art, of pursuing the type of art the way you love, pursuing your art the way you love, and pursuing the type of art that really lights you up, being tapped into that supernatural energy source, being tapped into that supernatural confidence and self-worth that comes from having the courage to do what you love. And I see my singers and my mentees in my company transform before my very eyes. And by the time that they finish their work with me, which is usually a few years, my typical student stays in my company working with me one-on-one. I would say usually for the average is probably like maybe 3 or 4 years, to be honest. Because there's just so much work to do, not only on their voice, but on preparing them to be professional if they want to be, or just sort of preparing them in whatever way needs to be for them to have the hobby of music where they don't feel dependent on a teacher anymore. They feel really confident. But also, again, the internal work that it takes, the internal confidence that it takes to be yourself in a really fake world, to actually be yourself and to present your art authentically. And again, to have the courage to say no to the things that just don't align with who you truly are and what you truly love. So there's sort of an internal work that happens in an artist's confidence and personal growth and spirituality. And then there's also just the real practical side of things, which is just their actual singing and them actually producing their art in a really, in a digestible way for the world, if that's what they want to do. Several of my singers are just doing this for a hobby, and sometimes I have to admit they're my favorite because not having a specific goal to be like a famous Broadway singer, it can be really refreshing. It leaves open a lot of really cool opportunities and cool open doors that I find singers who are too married to a specific goal or outcome often miss. Oftentimes there are a lot of missed opportunities because people are often too married to a specific goal or outcome. So a lot of times singers that come to my studio that are like, I just really want to learn to sing well. I really want to be amazing for myself. And I really want to build that confidence and that personal growth within myself in order to just feel great about my art. Like a lot of times those students make the most progress and end up supernaturally receiving the most amazing open doors. So you just never know. But yes, singing, when you immerse yourself in your art, it's a life-changing process. It's a slow growing, slow unbudding, no different than a rose. And it is beautiful. And I just can't think of a better way to live life. So often in my life, because I really am quite a practical person. I sound very airy-fairy and very woo-woo in this podcast, but those that know me know, like I was an accounting major in college. Like I'm a pretty practical person. I'm pretty pragmatic. I'm relatively logical. My feet are always planted on the ground. I'm a natural businesswoman, those type of things. But as much as I come off as airy-fairy, those are aspects of myself as well. But I find that the more I go through the motions of following my joy and bliss, the more I let go of being married to certain goals and dreams. And I just sort of say to God, like, just take me where you'll take me. And I'll just make sure that I'm always aligned with joy and bliss and what I love. Because I know, I have learned that what you love, you have access to supernatural abilities. And though maybe you're not the perfect artist right now, if you really love something, you will get good. And even if you're like me, and maybe, it could be a while. Like I said, guys, I've been doing this since I was 10. I really wish I would have arrived at about, 15 years ago, but I didn't. And I'm still working on my voice, but it's so much joy for me. And I just get such a kick out of it. I just love growing and learning. And I owe so much of my personal growth, my confidence, my femininity, my abilities as a businesswoman, just any of the successes that I've had that, I don't know, they might not be a big deal to you, but they are to me. These types of things came from loving my art and allowing my love and my passion to grow and transform me in the most beautiful ways. So I hope this podcast was fun for y'all. Have a beautiful day and follow your bliss and keep on singing, guys. Go ahead and check out the description box below if you guys are interested in looking at my music jewelry or purchasing my ebook, A Pretty Voice, or working with me as a voice student or mentee. Go ahead and contact me. All right, guys, have a beautiful day. Hi, guys. Thanks for clicking on this video. I'm going to go ahead and sing Can't Help Falling in Love with You. This is the theme song from my favorite movie ever. I've seen it at least 100 times. I know every word by heart. That's Fools Rush In with Selma Hayek and Matthew Perry. And this is also the theme song from Crazy Rich Asians, which is another really cool movie. Wise men say only fools rush in. If I can't help falling in love with you, shall I say, would it be a sin if I can't help falling in love with you? Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. fun.